My name is James Williams Jr. Let me apologize for the interruption of my fucking videos. This is the fifth and final installment, and of course, I didn't get to complete what I wanted to say because I was interrupted. So, we're gonna make this short and sweet. And again, let me be the first to apologize to the Heritons and the Grams, and I'm glad that you got some manner of justice today. Well, technically, yesterday. So, as I close this out, because I know my luck has just been awful trying to blog tonight, and these will air sometime today, and I'm not going to do it tonight because I'm going to bed now before things get hairy. I want you guys to understand that we blame the victim, we kill ourselves, and you should never ever in the known universe for any reason ever blame the victim. Now here's the thing about friends and other things in this situation. We have the ability to make a difference in this world. And I'm not talking about the comic book world with the fantasy superheroes and stuff like that. They're everyday heroes. And the thing is, they're never really recognized until it's too late. Or society generally shuns us. So I'm gonna put this out there. And you guys take this as a grain of salt. Take it any way you want. I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of negatives on it. And that's okay, because we all are entitled to our opinions and what we choose to do with our lives. One, I've touched on this before. I'm going to touch on this again, because this is for the young people in the 20 and down class, from 17 to 25. Let's give you a definite, this is when your life starts to take place. This is when you decide to become a productive member of society or fucking delinquent. Clearly, the subject at hand started off as a productive member of society and became a damn delinquent. We don't have to be delinquents. You don't have to be in the in crowd, and you don't have to fit in because everyone else does. Live your life for you, because the second you start living for someone else, you fuck yourself. You fuck yourself royally. And then society fucks you with a red hot poker. And then you do incredibly stupid shit, like becoming a psychopathic rapist killer. You've only fucked yourself in the long run, and you're hurting people who have never done anything to you. So shame on you people who don't do what your parents tell you, who think that being in the in crowd and raping women and killing women is like something to do, because eventually you will get caught. There's not enough technology in this world yet that can make you get away with murder and rape. You might be able to get away with one or the other, but sooner or later, your crimes and the truth will always come out. And so you should be more perceptive. And the thing with us who stand by and do nothing. I used to watch this show with Russell Wong on it called Vanishing Sun. And he used a Chinese proverb, because he's Chinese, that said, all it takes for good... excuse me, I'm fucking it up. I'm sorry. Let me start again. Thank you, Russell Wong. All it takes for evil to succeed is for good men to stand by and do nothing. And in the case of Hannah Graham Morgan Harrington, a whole city basically had no clue of what was going on. Now, I'm not saying that good people stood by and did nothing. What I'm saying is that none of us were even aware that this shit was happening. A few years before that, before Miss Harrington was killed at one of my favorite band's concerts, and before Miss Graham was killed more recently so, I was accused of being the serial rapist who worked at Harris Teeter. Now let me remind you again, I'm 5'3". I'm on the cusp of maybe 118 pounds. I've been trying to gain my weight back, I can't go over 130 pounds, but, if I can just get back up to 125, I'll be happy. But the thing is, society and profiling and all these things that are being done and not done correctly is why we have things like this happening. Now, every black man or person of color is a criminal. Society needs to know that and accept it. Not every man of non-color is a member of the KKK. And society needs to know that. You can't judge a person by what you see face value, because that could be a great person or that could be a horrible piece of scum. The only way you can really find out is to just follow them around, I guess, and watch them. And I know that's hypocritical because of the simple fact that I've had this done to me. And I joined the army. My these things, fingerprints, DNA, all that shit's online until the day I die. You know what I'm saying? So becoming a terrorist would not be a good idea. Besides, I have a metal hip that they put in me. There's no telling what the hell is in there. And I'm not a conspiracist, but I'm very careful. I'm not gonna rip my hip out because God knows I need it. And God knows I wouldn't have needed it if things wouldn't have led me into the army to begin with. So let me put it to you like this, for all of us in society who strive to be normal, who strive to be productive members of society, who don't wish to bring harm to anyone, watch out for your brothers. Watch out for your sisters. Watch out for your fellow man and woman and child. Because how they are treated in life can often take the turn to make them unproductive members of society. As you guys know, I am a comic book fanatic. So I'm going to quote the Joker from the cartoon The Batman. That used to be on the CW many years ago. There was a scene in there where Batman had the Joker cornered. And the Joker had not too long turned his friend into Clayface. And his friend was named Ethan, I think he was a black guy. And he told him, the main reason why you keep having all these criminals is because somewhere down the line, each one of these criminals have only one thing in common, which turned them from good to bad. They had a very bad day. Now, I'm not defending Mr. Matthews. I would never defend his actions because what he did was fucked up. Yeah, I said it. Fucked up. However, I will defend his mom and his dad because I'm pretty sure that they didn't raise him to become a rapist and a serial killer. The man had a sports career or something getting ready to go, and this jackass just decided, oh, I'm going to do what I want. Okay, here's that thing, society. Athletes are not above the law. OJ has proven that. Alright? No one is truly above the law. Even the lawmakers aren't above the law. We make these laws in society so that there won't be anarchy, chaos, panic, and disorder. Because once we have them, it's no telling what will happen. And God knows if we ever go under martial law, there will be some problems. Because America is built on rebellion. You know what I mean? It's built on rebellion. Black history was built on rebellion. The slaves rebelled. The English, French, and Italians and Greeks all rebelled against their home countries and came over here to start a new life. The problem was, when they got here, it was already inhabited by people who had started a new life. My ancestors that are Native American, they were here first. And, truth be told, they came from somewhere else to start a new life. And the thing was, they were here for at least 1,000 years or better before the paleface came over and took over and put them on a hunk of dirt and brought my other ancestors over and made them slaves. So rebellion is kind of the face of America. So if we ever went into martial law, it would be a big fucking problem. Because, once you get into martial law, you see these letters here? They'll be the ones enforcing the law. And sometimes martial law is a shoot-on-sight thing, right, for those who don't know. Not always a good thing. And no, I wasn't trying to smell my foot on a slick tip, in case everybody saw that. So, I'm going to close out. And I want everyone to think long and hard about Miss Morgan Harrington and where she could have been if the schools would have caught Mr. Matthews from the fucking jump. Miss Hannah Graham, who could be still studying right now for whatever degree she was going for. If the schools that first released this jackass under the table by trying to keep their school reputation clean, this would have never fucking happened if the first people who knew about this ball when it started rolling would have picked it up and locked it up. But no, this goes back to society trying to cover things up, trying to conspirize against something that, oh, well, we really didn't want to cause problems because it would have been racially motivated. And okay, look, here's the thing. It didn't matter about his race. What mattered was he was fucking up. And then you guys dropped the fucking ball in whatever damn school he was going to. And he just transferred to another school and started doing it over and over. And victims, let's not blame victims. Victims are scared. And most people will be raped and won't say anything because of fear and shame. It's mostly because of shame. Shame that they couldn't fight back. They weren't strong enough. Okay, hey, he was a big fucking dude, man. There's nothing to be ashamed about of that. He was a big fucking dude. You know, most women aren't much bigger than me. Maybe taller, but like, size-wise, unless they're a little bit zofted, as Margaret Cho would call them, or if I could be blunt, fat asses. You know, most women are raised to be tender and soft and don't know that they can actually fight back and beat up a man. Now, where I come from, the ghetto girls, oh, they know. They know. And from the martial arts that I've learned, which was based on a female martial artist named Wing Chun, she knew. Because she was beating men's ass up way back in the day. And just like Mulan, she was beating men up way back in the day. So your gender does not mean you will lose. It just means you may have to fight a little bit harder because supposedly men are naturally stronger than women. Well, here's a tip. It ain't about strength. It's about knowledge. Knowledge is the one true strength that no one can take from you unless you get amnesia. So when you think about these people that we're about to blame, and you think about these victims of these crimes, you understand something. You know, depending on a person's background would depend on their actions of what they do and how they survive. I grew up fighting. It's all I know. It's the only damn thing I'm ever going to be good at. Even crippled, I'm still dangerous. Where people who haven't had my fighting experience wouldn't know what to do in that situation. But here's the thing on that too. It's kind of that theory about I got your back from way back because I really don't know how to fight, but I'm going to tell you what you want to hear until the shit actually goes down. And this is why I tell people, don't tell me you have my back. No. Tell me you have my back in spirit, because that way I know I have a fighting chance of fighting by myself and you running away, which, hey, a good run is better than a bad stand. But you can't outrun bullets all the time. So sometimes you just got to take one for the team. I want everyone who's ever thought about blaming the victims to stop, pump your brakes, because that could be your sister, that could be your mother, that could be, more importantly, your daughter, your wife, that this asshole killed. And I called them an asshole. Yeah, I kid you not. I don't give a flying fuck. I called them an asshole. You guys might want to put all kinds of bad things about what I said about Mr. Matthews, and that's fine. I don't give a fuck. I have 5 fucking sisters. I'll deny them in court, but I have 5 fucking sisters. And I do love them, and I will get in to say that I will deny it in court. But I want to be a daddy one day. And I only want one child, but if I have a daughter, she will be the toughest bitch that ever existed. She will be Wing Chun. She will beat up boys and girls without a second thought. And why? Because when I was 6 years old, I was a street fighter. When I was 7 years old, I became a martial artist and a street fighter. And until I was about 14, so all I did was fight. Then I got a reputation by the time I got 16 and people stopped fucking with me. Now granted, these young ladies, these victims, from the beginning to the end with Miss Graham, no one really had to teach them how to fight because it wasn't something that they were accustomed to. It wasn't in their culture. It wasn't in their nature. So, like I said, to these families and these victims, do not blame the victims. It is never the victim's fault. No, you took a wrong turn. It happens. Anybody can take a wrong turn and be a victim. You had a bad day, you could be a victim. And the thing is, it goes back to where it all began. The first victim was scared. We give her that. But when she did report it, the school that initially sent him on his way should be held somewhat responsible for releasing him back into society instead of like just pressing charges. So your school gets a bad rep. Fuck it. You could have saved like 7 lives and shit. You could have saved the other victims from the rape and the battery. You could have done so much more than what you've done. And granted, the victims' families aren't coming after you. They should, because you could have prevented all this shit. All of it. And I do blame the school. The first school that he attacked the first girl on. I blame that school. I blame their rules. I blame their regulations. I blame their fucking need to have a good reputation. One person does not tarnish the reputation of a school. The actions of a school tarnishes the reputation of a school. If I go to a certain school and I decide that I'm going to harass girls on a daily basis, blah, 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 and you decide to let me stay in that school and continue to do that, that's the school's fault. And you can lock a student up for harassment. I've been to court for harassment, so you can lock them up for harassment. It just depends on the depth of the harassment. This dude attempted to rape girls, and they let him go. They let him move from one school to the next school. He was a predator in motion, and nobody caught this until these 2 young ladies lost their lives. So again, to the Graham family and to the Harrington family, I do apologize if my videos are a little bit blunt and vicaciously evil sounding. But the schools did this. The school that let him go with the first attempt of whatever the hell it was that he did, they did this. They did this. It is their fault that other girls were raped. It is their fault that your daughters are dead. It is their fault that they didn't take action because they wanted their school's reputation to stay above water. Well, here's a tip for your fucking school and your reputation now. Your shit done sunk, and you should be punished for it. That's just my personal opinion. My name is James Williams Jr. This is Kung Fu Havoc 2. This is my 5th and final video about the whole goddamn subject, and I'm canceling out right now. So to all you guys who've ever lost someone, or been in a room where someone's blamed the victim for being raped, or whatever the fuck the situation is, and that person winds up being murdered because we all stood by and did nothing. Nothing. Remember this. You never blame the victim. But if you think back to where it all began, and what could have been done, you blamed them. You blamed the school that let this son bitch transfer and didn't tell whatever other school he was going to that this was a problem student. You know, I mentioned the Columbine thing and how everybody has jumped on this lady, and they haven't jumped on the other lady whose son was also a participant in the thing, and, you know, both kids died. No one raises their kids to be a serial killer or a rapist. No one does that. That's not how society works. In a perfect world, we wouldn't have these problems. There wouldn't be racism. There wouldn't be rapes. There wouldn't be murders. There wouldn't be anybody incarcerated. The world would be perfect. This world is not perfect. This is the world of 616. And we get screwed. And in this world, even the bad guys can fucking win. Alright? But you never, ever, ever blame the victim for the acts of that person that victimized them. Ever. My name is James Williams Jr. I want you all to remember that you never blame the victim. I want you to all say a prayer for the Grahams and the Harringtons, and for everyone else who's ever been victimized by this guy, and who's ever lost someone due to domestic violence. Think about that shit. Thank you.